About the box office here, and the bad guy seems to be overperforming at the box office. Meanwhile, which is okay for non-franchise movies. The movie has made over $87 million worldwide. Again, this is probably not updated for this week, so it probably has made more. But this movie is overperforming the domestic total, which means this movie should end up around 60 to 70 million. And why is this significant? Because it's a non-franchise movie that's not made by Disney, of course. Of course, if your movie is not a part of a franchise, it typically does worse. Which is really, really dumb, because people won't give these non-franchise movies a chance. I know there's all these other problems that people are facing, for example, inflation and all that stuff. And of course, people can only see so many movies. But the fact that, we all gravitate towards, the big franchise movies is just ridiculous. Like, just watch what interests you. Don't say, oh yeah, I have to, but I can't watch this movie because, I have to watch, Spider-Man. I have to watch new Jurassic Park and Fetus, okay? I have to make room or else I will be cut off the discussion because I want to watch this movie, but it's not a part of a franchise. And that's why a lot of these movies are not part of a franchise. They're not really do too well at the box office. And again, the box office is really an indicator of success unless you're talking about Enchanto. Of course, that's like the only exception. And of course, movies that become underground classics, like Fight Club and Blade Runner. Okay. As well. But this movie made $87 million off a $70 million budget, which means that this movie makes another $70 million worldwide. This movie should make money, basically. So, next is Sonic 2, which again, Sonic 2 does not have its international update. Say it's updated, but it's not really having really good legs. It's not having good legs at the box office at all. Which again, it is probably because it is, a lot. Sonic is not. Sonic's fan base is only so big, and it's at least in April. Which again, it had a big opening, but it's, people, there are people who are going to see this movie who haven't seen the first movie, of course. This movie, will probably be pretty popular on streaming. Yeah, sadly, streaming services. And, of course, home video. I think it will be, like the first one. The first movie was pretty popular on home video, streaming, digital HD, and TV as well. It's on Amazon Prime again, probably to promote the new movie. It's on the Paramount service. It's on a couple of things because people like the Sonic movies, and giving people a chance to catch up to the movie. And this movie is doing pretty well for a Paramount movie. I think that Top Gun will probably outgross this movie, considering the legs of this movie. But it is actually still performing in line at the very bottom of the legs for this movie. But I wish that I was hoping this movie had good legs and ended for around $208 million. But again, because they released Fantastic Beasts, the bad guys as well, which really because of those movies really hampered the legs of Sonic 2. We're gonna talk about Fantastic Beasts next, which is still continuing to be a box office failure. Fantastic Beasts: The Rise of Dumbledore. Yep, this movie is doing abysmally at the box office. No one cares about this movie, and this movie is likely gonna lose money. Yep, this movie is gonna lose money. Okay, which means this is the first Harry Potter. This is the first in the entire Harry Potter franchise to flop. Okay, and there's two reasons why this movie is flopping. One, the Ezra Miller controversies, which really he got arrested twice in a month. Okay, and the whole Johnny Depp thing. Okay, there are some people who of course support Amber Heard. Yeah, they do exist. Though very, 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 very little amount of people support Amber Heard, but claiming that, Johnny Depp is making up accusations. So there are people who really believe that, Amber Heard, Johnny Depp is making up accusations to get money from Amber Heard because he's poor. Okay, which is stupid. Okay, we all know. Okay, there's a humongous amount of evidence that Amber Heard is an abuser. Humongous amount of evidence. Okay, you don't have to like the guy. You don't have to hate the guy. You don't have to like the guy. It doesn't really matter. Okay, most normal people are seeing that Johnny Depp is being mistreated by Hollywood. Okay, the fact that people like Ezra Miller are basically getting away scot-free because he's non-binary, so therefore he's basically protected by Hollywood, okay, which is ridiculous because he literally like assaulted a woman in a store, like threw a chair at her, and he gets off scot-free and doesn't get blacklisted. Okay, but Amber Heard, I literally abused somebody, of course, and the person who she abused basically gets punished for being abused. That's the kangaroo system we live in right now. Okay, there. But yep, we're gonna be talking about Fantastic Beasts, Northman. Again, it's another non-franchise movie flopping. Twitter is throwing a tantrum over this movie because the cast is all right. Again, nobody gives a crap about what Twitter thinks. Okay, this movie will probably lose money at the very, very end because it's not Spider-Man. It's not Marvel. It's not DC. Okay? It's not a franchise. That's the reason why. Okay? And they're going to make up excuses. Oh, people are not watching it because of the... And Trey's going to say, Northman's a flop because of not enough diversity. And prove that people want diversity in their films. Okay? No, that's not the reason why. And we all know that's not the reason why. But Hollywood's going to see it that way because they're stupid and listen to Twitter. We all know the reason why the Northman is flopping. Despite how much you can advertise it, despite how much, you advertise the movie, it's not a part of a franchise. Okay, it's releasing in April. Okay, and non-franchise movies since the pandemic after the pandemic have did abysmally at the box office. Okay, they have flopped and bombed and tumbled at the box office. The Last Duel, King Richard are two examples. West Side Story, I know it's based off a famous play, but it's not really a part of a movie franchise, okay? And as well. And, The Lost City didn't really do too well internationally. It did abysmally there, okay? Which means the movie is a flop because it didn't make any money internationally. And we're going to have again, The Northman might do well in Europe. But it's not really doing too well worldwide. It has a $70 million budget to $90 million budget. But here, this movie does. And of course, not being a part of a franchise is basically the main problem. Okay? Is the main problem. And of course, back in the day, people would watch the movie because of the actors and, people say, oh yeah, I like this guy in the movie, but actors don't really sell movies anymore. Mostly because of, Twitter. Okay? Twitter is the main reason why. Because people are like, oh, but why are you saying Twitter is the problem? Twitter is the problem. Okay? Hollywood gave Twitter too much power. Okay? And now that power is being taken away by Elon Musk. The power of Twitter to control entertainment. To allow other people to voice their opinion without getting banned. Okay? That's the whole problem. Okay, SJW's Twitter mob basically is telling, studio, TV shows, games, movies, basically how you should write your movies, which is completely ridiculous. People should write their movies how they want to, not by a rule set made by a bunch of people on Twitter. Okay, it should be based off what people want to see in a movie, not what Twitter not see what a minority on Twitter, wants in a movie. So, next is The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Again, this movie looked boring. We saw trailers. It looked like a generic. It basically was, this is one of those movies they were boasting about. Oh, Rotten Tomatoes gave us perfect scores. Okay, I saw ads for both the bad guys and the Northman. They were advertising the movies. This movie was literally advertising that Rotten Tomatoes gave it a good score. Nobody really trusts Rotten Tomatoes anymore, okay? The critics are raving about Massive Talent, and yet no one watched it, okay? A lot of these movies that, critics are quote-unquote raving about don't do well at the box office. Booksmart is an example of that. No one watched Booksmart as well. Again, Booksmart was not a part of a franchise, but the critics are hyping up to be the next big comedy, and literally no one watched it. Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent isn't doing too well at the box office. This. And I don't know the budget for the movie, but it's not really doing too well anyways. So, you know, I think for Nick Cage fans, there are lots of people who like Nick Cage. They're of course going to see the movie, but most normal people are not interested in seeing the movie. I think Nicolas Cage's hardcore fan base is probably the ones that are going to see his movie opening weekend, which is most likely the actual box office of this movie. So, yeah. We have three bad guys might actually not flop. It might not flop. Okay. But the problem is you guys don't give non-franchise movies a chance. Okay. People don't give non-franchise movies a chance. They don't give them a chance. And then they realize that they missed out once their movies come out on TV. Once they come out on TV. Once they come out on, home media. Of course, I don't really watch movies in the theaters. Okay. I'm telling you about people who actually go to the theaters and movies. Okay. But most people who go see movies in theaters, they wait for the big releases and, basically that's the movies they care about. Okay, the big, massive, blockbuster franchise movies. Okay, next is Everything Everywhere at Once. This movie is actually still doing pretty decent at the box office. It is doing surprisingly well for a non-franchise movie, for not being a part of a franchise and for being a small indie movie only appearing in a couple of theaters. Because 2,000 theaters is not a lot, but it's performing much better than a lot of other non-franchise movies, which the people who made this movie should really applaud themselves on this, that they were able to make a movie, not based off anything, do this well at the box office. This. Not a part of it basically means by not based off anything, not based off a pre-existing franchise. Okay, next is The Lost City. Again, this movie is doing well domestically, but that international sale is abysmal. Those international sales are abysmal for the movie. The movie will probably end up over $90 million domestically, but this is gonna be another one of those movies. Well, it will do well domestically, but because people don't watch it, because they don't release it much internationally, the movie will basically be a box office flop. It's gonna be a box office failure. So the amount of praise that people give it to it when the movie came around, saying that this is a win for real women in the box office, well, the international sales says otherwise, and this is actually a big loss for everything, including non-franchise movies, which can't even seem to make any money internationally because they don't have any name recognition, of course. So, next is Father 2. So Father 2 is basically like a Christian movie. Yep, it's a Christian movie. They released it during Easter, and that's basically what it is. It's one of those Christian Easter movies that's basically trying to get the Christian audiences, and who cares? I'm not religious, so yeah. Next is Midbit. Yep, Midbit is basically just doing Dark Phoenix numbers. This movie and this is the problem. This movie will make money. This movie will break even. Not make money, but this movie will break even. But movies like Lost City, Northman, movies that people actually like, they're gonna flop because people won't give them a chance because they're not a part of a franchise. Okay, people can say, but it's Marvel, so I have to watch it. Okay, the hardcore Marvel fanboys kept this movie alive enough to break even, which the movie needed around $150 million to break even, which it easily did. So yeah, we live in a world of Morbius and flop, but movies like the Northman and the Lost City are gonna flop. So you guys should really be really happy about yourselves for that one. Next is Ambulance. Again, Michael Bay being attached to any movie. But Michael Bay is basically box office poison. You can like him or not, but he's basically box office poison, and the Ambulance is proof of that. No one is basically watching this. So, yep. Next is the Batman. Yep, this is probably the last week we'll talk about the Batman because Doctor Strange will be coming out soon. But yep, this movie made a lot of money, obviously. And, And yeah, I think Hollywood's biggest problem is because people won't watch these non-franchise movies. And these non-franchise movies become forgotten. they become, and it's really hard for if a new studio wants to start making movies and films, okay? They have to compete with the big, massive franchise movies, okay? Let's compare. Okay, I already made that video about, but yeah, let's compare movies to video games really quickly. Okay, video games every year you have like a big new franchise game, a big new game series coming out, a big new video game IP coming out. Okay, every year basically, and there's always a successful one every year or every other year. Okay, you may like or hate Fortnite, Friday Night Funkin', or Among Us, or stuff like that, but at least there's something new. Okay, there at least a new IP. Okay, that people can get attached to, and people can form a fan base around. You may or hate the fan bases of those games, but at least there's something new, and they bring something new into the public culture. Okay, name one major new movie series that has appeared that is not based off anything since 2018. Okay. You might think, oh, but the Sonic movie came out. Yeah, that's like the only thing, but Sonic is already a pre-existing franchise. Okay. Sonic is a video game series. Okay. Through and through. Okay. Sonic is a video game series. So Sonic is already pre-existing. Kind of like, Marvel. Yeah, Marvel was not that popular outside of Spider-Man. Okay. But Marvel became more popular, but Marvel already was a pre-existing franchise. People already knew who the Hulk was. People already knew who Spider-Man was, definitely. And yeah, the X-Men were already established. So people already somewhat knew Marvel. And same thing with DC. People already knew who Batman was before the Dark Knight. People already know who Wonder Woman is. She's like an icon of pop culture as well. People already know who the Joker is. People already know who Superman is, obviously. And, the Flash as well, who has been an icon of, characters. Yeah, DC has always been more popular than Marvel until very recently. And Marvel became more popular than DC. See, now. But, the problem is, okay, people don't give non-franchise movies a chance. Okay, people don't. This is the low grosses of the Northman should be troubling for not just the studios, for all moviegoers, because you're gonna have more franchise movies, okay, and Hollywood will continue to be creatively bankrupt, basically. And yes, you can put new spins on franchise movies, but again, for example, Joker is a new spin on the Joker as a character. But it's basically be like something you can only do once. You can't really replicate what happened with the Joker. Okay, you can do it with other villains. Like, of course, you can make a Scarecrow movie. The same thing with Spider-Verse. I don't think Same thing with the first Spider-Verse. I don't think you're gonna recreate the same boom of the first Spider-Verse. Same thing with the first Sonic movie. You're not gonna recreate the first boom, which is like, yes, the second movie is gonna pass. They will pass the first movie in terms of gross. And will pass Pikachu. Okay. As well. It will probably, it will easily pass. It's gonna pass it very, very soon. The second one will. But the second movie will probably end up around 160 and 170 million, which is a very good box office gross. Okay. And you can compare it to even Detective Pikachu as well. It's also being out Pikachu, which, Pikachu didn't really have amazing legs either. As well. And the new Uncharted movie as well. Which Uncharted had really good legs. As well, so yeah, it's raining really hard now. But yep, this is it about this video. Goodbye.